You don't even own a toothbrush that's yours, let alone a house. My cousin smirked while the rest of the table burst into laughter. My aunt added, Aliza should just marry rich, because she clearly can't afford to be single. Even my own mother didn't defend me. She just looked down, silently agreeing. And that's when I decided this would be the last time anyone mocked me like this. If this story hits you hard already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because what's coming next will leave you speechless. You won't believe how this ends. I sat there, holding my paper plate of cheap cake at our annual family meeting, where they pretended it was about bonding, but it was really about bragging. My cousin Sana had just returned from a luxury trip to Paris and was now flaunting her designer handbag like it was made of gold. My uncle was talking loudly about the 6-figure deal he closed last month, and I could feel every eye glance at me with pity. Or disgust. I hadn't said a word yet, and they were already preparing to roast me. Still working at that small coffee shop? Sana asked, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. She didn't care for an answer. It was just her way of reminding everyone that I wasn't on their level. I smiled and nodded. Yeah, still there. No one needed to know what I was really doing after my shifts. That secret was mine. For now. I noticed my younger brother texting under the table. When I peeked at his screen, he had just typed, "She probably can't even pay for the Uber ride back home." I don't know what hurt more, his words or the way my mother saw it, and still said nothing. I felt like a ghost sitting among people who loved watching me fail. But they didn't know that I had been spending every night working a second job, freelancing online and saving every single dollar I made. I had skipped vacations, parties, and even basic comforts, just to invest in something they couldn't even imagine I was capable of owning. As my uncle raised his glass and said, "To those of us who actually made something of our lives," I smiled. They had no idea I had something in my bag that would burn the room down, but I wasn't going to reveal it yet. Not here. Not like this. Let them laugh a little longer. Let them feel proud. Because when the truth comes out, they'll never forget this night. My cousin Ryan burst out laughing. "You bought what? A 1-bedroom? In that neighborhood?" Everyone at the table followed, snickering like they'd all been rehearsing their lines. My aunt even fake clapped. "Bravo, Aliza! Finally doing something for yourself. A shame it's just a shoebox." My hands trembled under the table. I hadn't said a word about the second floor, or the backyard, or that I paid cash. Not yet. My uncle leaned in with a smirk. "You know, when your dad was alive, he would have never allowed you to settle for crumbs." That one stung. He knew how close I was to Dad. I stared at my plate while they toasted to small victories. What they didn't know was that their glasses were clinking over land that I now owned. "Must have taken you years just to save up for the deposit," my sister chimed in, fake sympathy all over her voice. She adjusted her designer bracelet like she needed to remind me I was still the underdog. They all thought I was struggling because I never posted about anything flashy. No Instagram stories, no fancy dinners, just work, just silence. But the contract in my purse said otherwise. And then came the final jab, my brother-in-law, with his perfect teeth and oily charm. "You know, Aliza, there's no shame in renting. Some people just aren't cut out for ownership." I don't know what snapped, but I stood up, calmly, quietly. I pulled the contract from my bag and placed it on the table like a bomb. The room went still. "You mean this ownership?" I said, my voice calm but sharp. My mother froze mid-sip. Ryan's jaw locked. My sister blinked like her eyes couldn't believe the heading on the document. Full purchase, no mortgage attached. I could feel the tension shift. Aunt Maria reached for the paper, her hands shaking. "Wait, this address, this is in the historic district?" Someone dropped a fork. I didn't smile. Not yet. They had no idea what was coming next, because that house wasn't just mine. It was a part of something much bigger. A few seconds passed before Ryan finally spoke, trying to save face. Okay, fine. You bought a house. Big deal. But let's not act like it's some mansion. It's not like you're a property tycoon or something. I looked at him, dead in the eye. You're right. It's not just a mansion. It's part of a development project. Everyone's faces twisted with confusion. I let the silence hang, let the tension build like a loaded spring. I didn't just buy a house, I continued, reaching into my bag again. I bought the 4 properties surrounding it too, and I'm converting them into luxury rentals. My mom gasped. My sister actually covered her mouth like she was about to be sick. My aunt whispered, "You're joking." I dropped another file onto the table. This is the city permit. Construction starts next month. And once that's done, passive income every single month. 6 figures, quietly. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. No one knew what to say. For years, they saw me as the quiet one, the safe one, the one who stayed home while they traveled and posted photos in yachts and airports. They had no idea I was buying land while they were buying handbags. You said I wasn't cut out for ownership. I turned to my brother-in-law. Funny thing is, the contractors you hired for your new kitchen, they're working for me next. He looked stunned. His face fell flat. No witty comeback. Just silence. I could feel my heart pounding, but not from nerves. From control. For once, I held the cards. And then my sister, ever the actress, tried to smile. Wow, Aliza, you could have told us. We would have supported you. I cut her off. Like you supported me when I lost my job, when you laughed at my online courses, when you called me delusional for not getting a real job. She didn't respond. She didn't have to. Everyone remembered. I turned to the rest of the table. I didn't tell anyone because I knew what would happen. I knew you'd laugh, judge, twist it. So I stayed silent, and I built everything while you all talked. But I wasn't finished, not even close. Because this real estate project, it wasn't just about money. It was about revenge. I stood up, slow and steady, and walked to the window overlooking the street. Everyone's eyes followed me. I could feel the tension crawling up their necks like heat. You remember Grandma's old house? I asked without turning around. My mom stiffened. Of course I do. I tried to buy it from Uncle Fahim before it hit the market, I said. But he told me someone else from the family already made a better offer. I found out later it was you, Mom. You bought it and sold it to Ryan for profit. Silence. You told everyone I didn't have the money, that I was just pretending, I said, voice sharper now. What you didn't know was, while you were flipping one house for quick cash, I was locking in a 10-year land deal with developers from Dubai. Aunt Ruxana leaned forward, whispering, "What are you talking about?" I turned around slowly, holding up one last document. This is the joint venture contract. The land I bought last year. It's part of a high-end smart city project. My equity alone just hit $3.2 million. In 2 years, that number triples. I dropped the contract on the table. No one touched it. They just stared at it like it was on fire. You called me poor, I continued, but I've quietly funded more properties in this neighborhood than anyone sitting at this table. And the best part? I looked straight at Ryan. You'll be renting from me next year, unless you want to move. His jaw twitched. My mother reached for water. My sister looked like she might cry. I walked back to my seat and sat down, calm and collected. I didn't need to yell. I didn't need to defend. I had already won. And then I smiled. By the way, I added, casually picking up a grape from the fruit platter. "This family meeting you all planned to talk some sense into me?" I recorded it. Gasps exploded around the table. I think the internet will enjoy watching how a poor girl handled a table full of snakes, but the real bomb was still ticking, and it was about to explode. My mom lunged forward, panic flashing across her face. "Aliza, you can't post that. This is family." "Exactly." I cut her off. "And family doesn't try to destroy each other behind closed doors, then smile in public like nothing happened." Uncle Fahim finally spoke, his voice shaking. "We didn't mean for it to go this far." I looked him dead in the eyes. "No, you meant exactly this. You all wanted to break me, humiliate me, push me out like I never belonged." "Aunt," Ruxana tried to play the peacemaker. Okay, let's all calm down. Maybe we just misunderstood things." "No, you manipulated things," I snapped. "You lied. You schemed. You laughed behind my back while I worked 16-hour days to build something real. And now that I've shown you what I've built, you want to rewrite history like none of this happened?" Ryan finally muttered under his breath. "You think money makes you better than us?" I stood up slowly, my presence now towering over everyone. "No, Ryan. Respect does. And the funny part? I earned mine without stepping on anyone." I pulled my phone out and tapped the screen. The audio from earlier, the laughter, the mocking, the word poor echoing again and again, played loud and clear from the speaker. Everyone froze. My mom's face turned pale. "No one could spin it now. I won't post it. Yet," I said quietly, switching off the audio. "But if any one of you tries to disrespect me again, this will go viral faster than your lies ever did." I looked around one last time, then picked up my bag and headed for the door. And just as I stepped out, I turned back and smiled. "Oh, and one more thing. Next week, I'm moving into the new penthouse overlooking the same neighborhood that once whispered, 'She'll never make it.' I hope you enjoy the view from the ground." The door shut behind me, and for the first time in my life, I walked away not needing their approval. I was the storm they tried to hide from, and now they had to live in the shadow of everything they said I'd never become.